After dating for 2.5 years, aspiring artist Ben finds himself navigating the emotional aftermath of a breakup with his first serious girlfriend, Susie. She lashes out at him, and when he remains passive, her frustration escalates to throwing objects. Ben is supposed to be focusing on his final year of college, but his mind is consumed by the breakup, leaving him puzzled and heartbroken. To make matters worse, he frequently sees Susie flirting with another guy during lunch, sparking suspicions that she might have cheated on him. His best friend Sean suggests a rebound to ease the pain, but Ben struggles to trust advice from someone with notoriously bad luck in relationships. In art class, Ben becomes distracted and sketches a beautiful classmate instead of the model. This earns him a reprimand from the teacher. Living in a crowded student accommodation with over 100 other young adults means Ben is constantly reminded of everyone else's active social lives. One sleepless night, he decides to call Susie, waking her to apologize and ask for another chance. She refuses and mentions the new guy, deepening Ben's heartache. Unable to move on, Ben spends hours staring at old photos of them together, contemplating burning them but ultimately not following through. His insomnia worsens as he becomes trapped in an endless loop of overthinking and failed attempts at distraction. During a late-night grocery run, Ben spots a help-wanted sign for the night shift. On a whim, he applies, zones out during the interview, but still gets the job. At work, Ben meets Sharon, a friendly cashier who makes him feel welcome. However, he notices their boss, Jenkins, behaving inappropriately toward her. The job itself is monotonous, leaving Ben prone to daydreaming, much to Jenkins' annoyance. Sharon avoids looking at the clock, covering her watch with tape to make the shift feel less tedious. Ben's other coworker, Barry, became an internet sensation years ago with a silly bike stunt, but now spends his nights riding a scooter through the aisles and playing pranks with their colleague, Matt. Their antics often disrupt the workplace, like crashing scooters into shoppers' carts or sneaking suggestive shampoo bottles into customers' baskets for laughs. As weeks pass, Ben falls into a routine of boredom. To cope, he starts fantasizing about freezing time, imagining himself wandering the store unnoticed. In his mind, he studies the beauty of women shopping, picturing how he could sketch them freely and add to his artistic portfolio. These daydreams also pull him back to his childhood, when a foreign exchange student stayed with his family and walked around the house casually undressed, sparking his appreciation for capturing natural beauty through art. Ben's crush on Sharon grows as they bond during breaks. He shares food with her and secretly wishes to freeze these moments forever, but his feelings are tested when Matt asks Sharon out and she accepts. Listening to Matt boast about his plans for their date leaves Ben heartbroken, stirring memories of his past crushes. One of his earliest crushes was an Olympic runner who competed barefoot, inspiring admiration for her simplicity and grace. Later, Ben was smitten with his biology teacher, captivated by her fitted sweaters and skirts. His biggest crush was a classmate, Tanya, who had broken her arm. Ben enjoyed being her helper and even drew a simple X on her cast when she asked him to sign it. When the cast came off, revealing a hairy arm, Tanya was mocked by their peers, but Ben reassured her of her beauty. She agreed to be his girlfriend, but their romance ended abruptly when her family moved abroad before their first kiss. Back in the present, Sean encourages Ben not to give up hope on Sharon, reminding him that one date doesn't define a relationship. Still, Ben doubts Sean's credibility, knowing his friend rushes into physical intimacy on first dates. At the store, Matt gleefully shares explicit details about his date with Sharon, leaving Ben reeling and struggling to mask his feelings of jealousy and despair. Ben's night shift is interrupted when Jenkins enthusiastically announces an upcoming soccer match against another branch's employees. On game day, Sharon shows up to cheer for the team, forcing Ben to endure Matt's relentless flirting with her. The opposing team arrives in sleek uniforms with impeccable coordination, immediately outclassing Ben's crew. As the game begins, the mismatched skill levels become painfully obvious. Ben's team fumbles and collides more than they play, while Jenkins complicates matters by answering business calls in the middle of the field. To make things worse, the referee ignores the other team's dirty tricks, and it takes the entire team to restrain Jenkins from retaliating. Ryan, the goalkeeper, performs so poorly that he inadvertently helps the ball into their own goal. With 1 minute left and a humiliating score of 26-0, Jenkins demands they score at least once. Ben passes the ball to Jenkins, whose shot bounces off the goalpost. Matt attempts to recover but ends up kicking the ball straight into Jenkins' face. Exhausted by the fiasco, Ben imagines freezing time and walking off the field, glancing at Sharon before slipping away for a drink. Even in this fantasy, he bungles the moment, realizing his own self-doubt. Back in reality, Jenkins suffers a bloody nose and needs medical attention. Before taking him to the hospital, Matt asks Ben to escort Sharon home. Instead, they stop at a cafe where Ben cautiously asks Sharon about her relationship with Matt. She clarifies that their outing was purely platonic, expressing disgust at Matt's lies. Sharon also reveals she's single because her ex-boyfriend moved to the US in return. Ben shares the story of his breakup with Susie. Their conversation shifts to dreams and future ambitions, and Sharon admires Ben's romantic view of life as a painter. When Ben drops Sharon off, an awkward moment leads to a shy kiss on the cheek. The next night, Jenkins returns to work bandaged and sporting a neck brace. Despite his condition, he cheerfully announces plans for his birthday party. Sharon asks Ben to be her date, and he happily agrees. In private, Jenkins confides in Ben that he wants a risky dancer at the party and asks him to hire one. Ben enlists Sean's help, and the duo heads to a bar to scout dancers. As Sean negotiates with a performer, Ben's mind drifts, imagining Sharon as an exotic dancer. Although weeks have passed, Ben's insomnia persists, though his thoughts have shifted from Susie to Sharon. During work, he fantasizes about freezing time, capturing endless portraits of Sharon, each more beautiful than the last. The night before the party, Sharon confirms their plans and surprises Ben with a kiss before leaving. This moment finally mends Ben's broken heart, allowing him to sleep peacefully for the first time in ages. The next day, he receives a call from a gallery interested in his art, unaware it's a prank orchestrated by Barry and Matt. As the party approaches, everyone gets ready with exaggerated effort. Ben picks up Sharon and Sean arrives with a date, much to Ben's shock. Susie is also at the party, as Jenkins is her boyfriend's brother. Though their interaction is polite, Ben manages to keep his emotions in check. When the dancer arrives, she performs a provocative routine, but her bodyguard prevents Jenkins from crossing any lines. Sean, recording the spectacle, recognizes the dancer as his old neighbor, Natalie, and invites her to stay for drinks. Meanwhile, Jenkins makes unwanted advances towards Sharon, including trying to feed her popcorn. She spits it back at him and leaves, unaware that Jenkins starts choking. Upstairs, Ben encounters Susie, who apologizes and unexpectedly kisses him. Unfortunately, Sharon witnesses the scene and leaves before Ben can explain. Realizing what she saw, he wishes desperately for a way to rewind time. Feeling helpless, he goes after Sharon, but is met with fury when he shows up at her apartment. With no words to mend the situation, Ben leaves, heartbroken once again. At work, Sharon is absent, and Barry shows up with his own neck brace after yet another stunt. The following Wednesday, Ben visits the gallery only to learn the call was a joke. However, the gallery owner takes an interest in his work and offers him a legitimate opportunity. Sometime later, Sharon receives an invitation to Ben's solo exhibition. On the big night, Ben is thrilled to see the crowd admiring his paintings, including a gallery owner from New York. Yet his focus remains on Sharon, who is stunned to discover that many of the pieces feature her, captured in breathtaking detail. Sharon congratulates Ben on his success and shares that she started a new job at a travel agency. Ben apologizes for the incident at the party, but Sharon remarks that his paintings say everything she needs to know. In a tender moment, Ben kisses Sharon and playfully pretends to stop time, leaving her unfrozen so they can step outside. Together, they walk into a magical scene where snow has paused mid-fall, sharing a kiss under a frozen starry sky.